born ready. I am born ready.
Rolling?
That's not. No, we're recording now. Here we go, folks. Another guest for our special post-national series. We've called it the National Treasures of 2022. We're getting folks' perspective on the National, what they liked, what they didn't like. If they want to crap on Atlantic City, that's happened a few times, and we're okay with that. We're here for that. We want to hear what they liked about National, what they didn't like, what they might change. And with us today to answer all of our questions about Fanatics, just kidding, is Jeff Pack Geek from Panini. We're not going to ask you about Fanatics because we know you're not going to answer. So we'll just get that right out of the way, Andrew. And Andrew, why don't you tell everyone why that's funny?
But that's not the case.
Oh,
I don't appreciate you always putting people on the spot like that. You could do it with me.
I took him off the spot. I took him off the spot.
We've had Jeff on a few times, and if you guys don't know, Jeff creates amazing content with Panini. I believe head of marketing at Panini, right? Is that fair to say?
Well, director of marketing, but yeah. I do have someone over me, so not head technically.
And we've asked Jeff about Fanatics and all that stuff, but the point is, this is all in flux. We're figuring this out as we go. And I think what I've learned is these companies, as much as they want to turn a profit, they show out, they do things like giveaways and things like that at National to give back to the community. So I want to talk a little bit about Jeff's experience at National, how things were. He ran a few panels that were epic. There's a bunch of content, but high level, we're maybe a week, 2 weeks removed from National. What were your thoughts?
I mean, I had a blast. Being paid to go to the National is pretty awesome in general. So I'm used to spending all my extra money going out there and, buying stuff. This time I got to go, obviously representative Panini. Man, it was a whirlwind, as it is for most people. I got in Thursday, which was a day late. I should have been in all day Thursday.
You're playing catch up at that point.
That was a mistake. I hopefully will never make that mistake again.
You missed out on a cigar. You missed out on a cigar not coming in on Wednesday.
No, man. I just need to know when the next cigar party is. I don't even smoke cigars, and I have to attend the next cigar party. So
Cage nibbles on them. He like chews on them. By the end of the cigar, he's like nibbled a quarter and then smoked the rest. It's kind of gross, actually.
That's a real cigar, aficionado is somebody who essentially eats it.
It's kind of gross, actually. We had several people smoke their first cigars at our event, so that was cool too.
No kidding.
Oh yeah. People are willing to try stuff. It's National. They're on vacation.
Well, so what cigar did you guys use? It has to be only the best to represent the show, right?
It's funny, actually. We had our own cigars. So Luca, Tiger, LeBron. We had a Luca, Tiger NFT cigar, 2 different blends. Okay. And somebody actually came up and knew the cigar manufacturer. There's a it's basically like a craft brewery if you were doing beers. It's a small cigar manufacturer, Martinez Cigars in Manhattan. Okay. They are they blend their own stuff, and it's not exactly cheap, but they're on 29th between like 9th and 10th. And they made a blend of cigars. Can
you stop saying blend when it comes to cigars? Like it's like a coffee roast or
something? It is.
Like, stop saying blend.
The filler tobacco is a blend of tobacco. And then there's different tobacco on the outside, the different kind of leaf. And I had people coming up, hey, do you have a Connecticut shade? And I'm like, I actually do. I had 4 different of one cigar. I had 4 different. I had a barber pole that had like 2 different types of leaf on the outside. I had different shapes. I had Maduro, which is like a darker, leaf on the outside. I had a lot. I gave out 312 cigars that night.
Oh my God. It's on the details, right? It's the small details that put you above the average cigar, as it were. But I think it's great. I love that y'all put that much thought into it. I think that's
he gave LT a cigar.
I did.
Did he smoke it there?
I did. Did I tell the LT story? I think I did. LT was mean to me. LT was mean to me. At least I thought he was being mean. Because LT's folks, I'm so thrilled that LT was there. Big shout out to the Wwe Sports Card family, Northeastern, store chain. They work with LT. We actually saw them at dinner together one of the other nights out there. Great store. They're the ones that put that great content with Crazy Albert. You know, he's ripping stuff and you name it, just great stuff. So he was there, and the folks who were with him were like, "Hey, LT wants a cigar." I'm like, "All right, I'll come over. I'll cut it. I'll light it. The whole deal." And he was smoking a cigar, and not a very good one, right? And I had
single origin, not even blended.
Wait. I mean, you came up to give him a cigar, and he already had a cigar.
So he had one already. I mean, he's a cigar smoker. He smokes cigars, so he wanted another one. And I have good cigars, so I say to him, I'm like, I got a good one for you here. It's what I'm smoking, blah, 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 the whole deal. And he's like, all right, but I don't want to throw this one out.
Already insinuating he's smoking crap.
He's like, he says, I don't want to throw this one out. I'm like, LT, I got cigars for days over here. You don't worry about that cigar. It is crap. It was a crappy cigar. He's like, no, I don't want to. I want to save this one. He's like, can you cut it? All right, so I say, I'll cut it. Now,
Cage grabs it and throws it over the balcony into the ocean.
I should have, because it was that bad. No, but you can't just cut the cigar where it's burned up to, right? Because the cigar actually burns inside. It actually burns the tobacco inside. So it's actually little. So you have to take the cutter and move it down the cigar about a half an inch. Otherwise, when you cut it, it's still going to burn. It's still lit on the inside. You have to cut it like, when you're stopping a fire. You know what I mean? You gotta take the oxygen out of it, right? So I do this on a cigar and I cut it, and he starts looking at his guy. He's like, he cut half my cigar off. Like, what is this guy doing? I said, I want to save the cigar.
He pulled up the Joe Theismann YouTube video. Like, he said, do you want this to happen to you, Cage?
I said,
do you want your leg broken by LT?
I said, I'll give you another. You want to save it. This is what you have to do. Otherwise, it's just going to sit there and burn the rest. It's not going to go out. Like, it'll be lit inside. So he's like, he's making fun. He's like, this guy just cut my cigar in half. And I said, you guys get to deal with him. I don't have to. I'm going back to my little corner. I'm going to cut cigars and light cigars, and no problem. LT is being a dick. And so I just said this, right? And maybe 10, 15 minutes later, his guys come over. It's like, LT, he feels bad. He needs another cigar. I'm like, I'll come over. I bring Andrew. We take pictures. Andrew's talking about how soft his hands were. Something. I don't know, something about his hands. Andrew took a picture with him. I took a picture with him. It was fun. LT was awesome.
Is that what I said?
I don't remember. You said something about his hands.
You're not the real LT.
Yes, he said that too.
Oh, you accused him of being a clone?
He rather LaDainian Tomlinson.
My generation's LT is LaDainian Tomlinson.
Oh, I wish you had that conversation, Andrew. That would have been hilarious.
Cage always steals the show, but
it was the smile. You liked the smile. That was what it was.
I did compliment his smile. Jeff, so you ran a few panels. Well, yes. What I love about our show is I get the benefit of learning from the people that we have on as guests. I think it's a benefit I didn't realize when we started this. That's been probably far and away the best thing ever. It's helped my learning curve with a hobby, all that stuff. What are a few takeaways you had, whether that's from the digital panel or the day before, that kind of stuck with you that you'd want to share with our audience?
Okay, so we had two panels. The first one was a content creator panel. We had like Ryan Johnson, Card Collector 2. We had Pac-Man. We had a real interesting group of people.
Mojo Geo, I believe.
Yeah, we had we had exactly. So Mike Geo from Sports Card Nonsense, Mojo J from Mojo Sports Cards. We had Christina from Card Ladder. It was in Eric Norton from Back in Media. We had a good group of people in there. It was honestly. It was interesting to hear their take. Personally, one of my takeaways was that I need to start figuring out TikTok, which really hurt my feelings because I've been avoiding it like the plague. And I still, if I can find a way to weasel out of that, I will. But a lot of content creators there that have a huge audience that I really respect.
What was the reasoning behind that? Like, that's where organic reach is. That's where the people are. That's where card hobbyists are.
It is, the biggest takeaway from that particular discussion was that it's just not oversaturated like a lot of the other social media outlets are for card content. There's still an appetite for content that will, drive hundreds of thousands of views if you do it right.
Cage, you want me to get our content team on that? I'm having a meeting with them this week.
Talk to me. Are you guys on TikTok?
It depends on what kind of content we're going to be doing. Like if you and I are going to be dancing and flipping, doing like side-by-side cameras and like flipping wax at each other or something like that, sure. Then it might, if we could do that.
We're talking physical comedy.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be like a little slapstick, or like the dance. I'm the next trend. I'm going to get tens and tens of views. You get this.
I was watching a clip from Impulsive, and they said that the only platform that's gaining users monthly, specifically the younger generation, is TikTok.
Is that right?
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all these platforms are losing users, while TikTok's the only one that's still gaining users. So that's actually an interesting take. What about from digital? Anything interesting come out of that?
From the NFT panel?
Yep.
Are we calling NFTs digital now? Because Cage had mentioned that during the panel discussion. Cage was on one of our esteemed panelists, but
Cage takes
the first person says NFTs, and half the audience started walking. I'm like, no, come back. It's cards, I promise.
Cage takes my content and repurposes it and packages it in a much more eloquent way. But it should be called digital collectibles. NFTs is such a broad, non-meaning topic. It's one of those words that it's too vague to mean anything, and it incites all of this like fear and like this is it like. So it really is just a digital collectible. It's your card on a digital platform. It's not that crazy.
I will say this. Panini had been calling digital cards, which were essentially NFTs before NFTs were a thing, and Topps did it too. And I just didn't feel like they got much traction at all with that. So it may have been hey, we need to catch up with a trend going on now, so let's rebrand these. I wasn't around when the decisions like that were made, but I don't know if digital trading cards is something that will stick either. But regardless, it was a panel talking about digital trading cards, aka NFTs. And gosh, we had I wish I could remember everything that we talked about
sleeping on stage.
What's that?
Well, that was that was Sean DeSoma. He came on and did the C-suite very card shop live commercial, and I fell asleep. I mean, it happens.
I do think I'm shocked that Card Shop Live is the only outfit right now that's doing NFT pack breaks. There's a massive opportunity there for other programmers to create something like that. So we're partners with them. So I obviously wish Card Shop Live, all the success in the world, and we hope to continue to work with them. But I'm shocked that no one else is doing that or offering those breaks, because I feel like there's a lot of opportunity there. So that's not a great takeaway for your question, but
no, how would that work? So like you open a digital pack and then you gift the item to the individual participants.
It's so clean. So, with regular physical cards, group breaks are fairly complicated. You've got your list of people. You need to put everything in a top loader. You need to ship it out and pray that everything makes it where it's supposed to. This, fortunately, with a blockchain, so you open everything up, you have everyone's wallet. You know exactly who has what team or what player, whatever it might be, however they're breaking up the draft. And then it's instantly there. You don't have to worry about quality control. You don't have to worry about packaging and shipping or FedEx losing a package. It's there, and you can verify that it's there. So,
and what product do you think is the most fun to break right now in digital?
As far as digital, gosh, I would say Optic Basketball, but it's gone now.
There's no more Optic Basketball packs?
It's sold out.
Yeah, it's gone. But Optic Football is coming up in a couple weeks. That's going to be another big one. It's another build similar to Optic Basketball, so that's going to be
Luca
fun.
Nation, in the comments, I wanted to do something for you guys for a while, and this is perfect. So on our Whatnot show, we've been doing it every single day, 5 to 6 p.m. I'm going to do a free pack break, free box break, something with Optic Football. I'll figure out the details offline, but put in the comments if that's something that you're interested in. I'll host it completely free. I'll even cover shipping, and we'll do this for our Luca Nation community. I've been wanting to do something for a while for our people and whatnot. So we'll try it out. Thank you.
Friction. So Card Shop Live, why it works is because they're building it with the ability to actually do those breaks. So one of the things that people have to put in when they do those breaks is their Panini name, their wallet, their nickname. And on Whatnot, you're not going to have that. You're going to have a shipping address. You're going to have to go, but it's not something that's impossible. If Panini wanted to work with other folks. And, obviously you could reach out to these people. It's an additional step that you would have to take, because right now the person who wins or the person who you're giving the pack to, you're just going to have their shipping address. You're not going to have their Panini wallet to gift. But if you started doing this, we could obviously talk to Whatnot and the whole deal. But Jeff, that's the reason why Card Shop Live's the only one doing it, because they're a platform that built the the way to actually do this seamlessly. Whereas everyone else is built on a physical. It would be easy to work that in, another space, another, wallet, you name it. And then you'd whitelist sellers and all that other fun stuff that happens. But that's the reason right now that Card Shop Live's the only one doing it. Got it.
Well, on topic, talk to me offline, and we'll see if we can sponsor that.
So a lot of people online at Panini, a lot of people online at the National, right? I mean, you tried to do like a reservation system, you tried to do all kinds of stuff. So talk to me about that. And is there anything you change? I mean, let's just put you in charge of Panini for a second, right? We're changing your name from Jeff to Mr. Panini,
now
right? Anything? Yeah, I mean, why not? You're on our show. Andrew makes magic happen here.
I need to be known as the head weenie of Panini if we're gonna call it that.
Good, done. I love childish humor, so that works for me. It works. So tell me about the lines. Tell me about the people who are there. I mean, and then we could follow up if I remember, Andrew. I mean, there's white boxes, black boxes, there's one-on-one redemption boxes. Like that has always been a little confusing to me, but I saw people, walking away with just amazing hits. I think Mojo had a Burrow that was like green ink auto. I mean, like there was just some cool things. So we could talk about that as kind of like a second. But what were people online for? What were they doing? Tell me what worked, what didn't work, what should improve. Talk to me.
Well, if you're at the National prior to this past one, you would know that there was a giant line at the Panini booth trying to get in to see our customer service reps that were there. People were able to exchange redemptions live. It was a sweet deal. It was a great deal. We were trying to cut back on the line factor by giving people time slots. So we emailed out to our mailing list offering time slots for anybody that was going to be at the National to get their redemptions exchanged. There was still a line because people refused to just understand that it was supposed to be reservation only. So it went really well. I think the line was usually about 5 to 10 people deep, whereas before it was 100 people deep and annoying all of our neighbors. So in that way, it was a success. But I felt like it was great. I felt like we gave out a lot of value for people's redemptions. People seemed to be really happy. We knocked out a lot. We were able to liquidate a lot of, ongoing redemptions. So that's always a success.
That's probably the most common complaint I hear about you guys, by the way. It's the redemptions and the redemption process. I've never pulled a redemption. I saw someone on the internet pulled 2004 Michael Jordan UD autos. Okay, did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, but that's something that just happens. If you're opening up
the
box
exquisite, I saw that break
20 years old.
What's the process? Like, if I pull a 2012 redemption, is it expired?
Yes. Yeah. So, but we do offer points for a lot of expired redemptions. So, the typical process, say I'm opening up brand new product that just hit market, I would go to PaniniAmerica.net. I would go to the dashboard. You enter in your redemption information. It creates a ticket, and then that ticket gets processed. Now, we need to do better about processing our redemption tickets. This is why I get DMs constantly on social media about, hey, can you help me with my redemption? And I'm not even in customer service, but I'm a collector. I relate to all these people. I have my own list of redemptions that I refuse to go over to customer service and say, hey, I work here. Can you handle these? Because I want to know what people like you guys are going through right now. So I know the wait is long right now, and it's frustrating, and they're understaffed. They're doing the best they can. But we need to do better. I mean, there's no other way around that, and it is frustrating.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right.
You've been at Panini for about a year and a half. Is that fair to say?
Half a year. 6
Half
months.
a year.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know. For being the head weenie at Panini, man.
Rate that experience, right? So like 1 to 10, and I want you to give some color to it. What's that been like? Because I know this happens with our podcast too. Like everyone has a million ideas of what we can do,
Yeah.
But when you actually have to execute on the other side, you realize it's not just like a flicking the switch and problems are solved, right? It's step-by-step execution, it's delegation, it's hiring, it's firing sometimes. What's that process been like?
So just in general, being an employee of Panini
Yes.
America.
Off the record, on the record.
Throw up the record.
I mean, it's been good. Honestly, when I started out, I was a little frustrated for the reason you just said, because I realized like I came into this position with like big ideas, thinking I'm going to change the world. Here we go. And then reality kind of set in over the first couple of months, like baby steps. This is a marathon. And, I need to establish trust with my team members and also get the respect of the entire crew there. So I would say it went from, if you'd asked me the first month or two I was there, I probably would have said a 6. And now I would say it's more like a 7 or 8.
Interesting.
Just because, I mean, it would
drink it out of a fire hose in the beginning, and now you're like, all right.
Oh my gosh. Well, so the guy my predecessor, Tracy Hackler, had been in the position for 12 years. He knew it. He knows it inside and out. He created this manufacturing marketing position, hobby-facing manufacturing marketing position. And I don't know how he did the volume that he did and still kept everyone happy. But I mean, that's what I strive to do, is to get somewhere close to that level. But I got a long way to go. And you got to remember, somebody like Tracy and a lot of people at Panini have been in the hobby their entire professional career. This is my first job in the hobby, even though I've worked kind of hobby adjacent on some stuff. I've never actually worked for full-time for a company that was within the hobby. So it's different. There was a big learning curve, but now I feel like I'm a little bit more in the groove.
What's hobby adjacent? Just I'm curious.
Oh, just making content for the hobby or doing some freelance work for hobby groups, but I never was technically employed by the hobby.
Very fascinating. You kind of okay. You got me.
I'm the only hobby part-timer here of the three of us. You got 2 full-time hobbyists here.
Andrew, are you full-time hobbyist?
I feel like I'm slacking.
I like business. I like problem solving. I've always liked business. So, like, am I full-time hobbyist? Like, I've been trying to figure this whole business thing out for the last 10 years. And some years, it's like you're making 200-300K and you're like, I'm going to break through. It's a series of false starts and you backpedal, false start, backpedal. So, yeah, but I don't think of myself as full-time hobbyist or not. I just love business.
Yeah.
I love business. And I love cards and I love sports. Sometimes I don't take enough time to, like, realize how lucky I am to cover sports and talk about sports with like a business investing side to it for a living. Cause like we're 6-figure, you know what they say. So like, yeah,
He's rapping now.
I always compare up. We talk about that, but comparison is the thief of joy. You had something really, really interesting to say a little behind the scenes. Maybe you could shed light on, like, from a prediction standpoint. You said this is going to be a very interesting year for the hobby, right? And we had a few people on. I think liquidity is the word I'm using, right? People want cash for their cards quickly, whether it's a loan or you liquidate. What do you mean? Like, what are you seeing that maybe you'd want to share and use this platform to do so?
Well, I mean, as far as like a collector/investor goes, I think massive opportunities for buying right now. What people don't, so many people that consider themselves a sports card investor have only been in the space for 2 or 3, maybe 4 years. I guess 4 years. It's a lot of it started in 2018. From that aspect, if you've been around the hobby for a decade or more, you've seen these ebbs and flows. And I feel like what we're going through right now this is not the end of the world scenario. Like, this is just a small dip and it's going to go back. I don't know if it'll go as high as it peaked, during COVID, but I mean, why not? Like, the infrastructure continues to grow. The audience continues to grow. So, why couldn't it go there? Please, no one take anything I say as
well. Can I push back on that?
Yeah.
So I think it goes there in terms of demand. Like, I think we definitely have more people in the hobby. But I think, and don't send mean messages to Jeff because he's not the one printing cards, but I think we have more parallels and more cards. So it's like the whole supply and demand thing, right? It's I always think about being like the head of Panini. I'm like, it's such an interesting road to toe, because on one side you want kids to get cards and you want them to be affordable, and if you have more supply, you make them more affordable, and then kids pull green pulsars and get them 2 years later from PSA or whatever, right? They have all these options for parallels,
Right.
But then there's the collector who wants prices to go higher, which what helps prices go higher? Limited scarcity or limited supply. So it's such an interesting like line that I think you guys have to toe that I think a lot about if I was in Panini's position.
Right. Well, fortunately, they don't ask somebody like me to weigh in on like building doing the different brand programs, because I'm all about scarcity. There would probably it would probably be very, very much limited. But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I totally agree with what you said, and I think from an investment standpoint, people need to pay a lot of attention to those rare, super low number cards. I just don't think even though a lot of cards prices have softened, I don't see those softening as much.
What do you think about the Breakers Pavilion and what Whatnot did? Cage came in and he was like, whoa, I've never seen it like this before. It looks like the Atlantic City merry-go-round or something like that. Is it, right?
Yeah, it had like a carnival atmosphere to it, right? And they spent some money. They made it fun. And if what we're really all talking about here is an expanding hobby, with TikTok and other forms of content and whatnot, that is your target audience is the future hobbyists. It's the younger crowd, and the younger crowd is not likely to, fall over backwards for some of the memorabilia tables like I would. They're not likely to, to care so much about some of that stuff that I think is cool. But the Stranger
like
Things,
1906 bat.
Yeah, which was really couldn't have been 1906, and I corrected them. But like the Stranger Things vending machine and the Zero Cool booth, or what Whatnot was doing, clearly it's targeting a younger audience. So I thought that was cool, and it's something we hadn't seen at Nationals, before that.
That's kind of been a reoccurring theme over the years since I've been going to the National, is that a lot of booths are trying to out volume the other booths just to try to stir up attention. And the Breakers Pavilion was doing a great job of that. I mean, like Backyard Breaks they had a lot of hoopla going on over there, and a few other breaking groups were, doing
Bleacher,
a bunch of
shout out Bleacher.
I mean, it's smart. It makes sense, especially when you have that just an expansive room like that, and all of these options for people to explore. Like, you need to have a differentiator, and whether that's just the noise coming out of your booth or a giveaway, you got to do something.
You obviously you're on the invite for the next cigar night. We've talked about that offline. It's going to happen. You get to bring one athlete to cigar night with you, one celebrity, whoever you want. Doesn't have to be signed by Panini. It can be. You could bring Luca to Luca Nation cigar night. That could work. But who do you bring, Jeff?
I mean, Luca is the obvious choice. If I'm just going to a happy hour, maybe somebody like John Daly seems like he'd be a good time. He's also, I'm pretty certain John Daly's a cigar smoker, so I feel like he could take the most advantage of something like that. I don't know. I mean, Luca, honestly, is the person I immediately went to, because he just seems like somebody I'd want to be best friends with. Now, I also see him as somebody who probably wouldn't smoke a cigar and probably wouldn't partake in a cocktail, but that's okay. If they have like Cheetos or something there, we can do that.
He smokes hookah for sure. That's what.
Does he really?
Yeah.
That surprises me. Okay.
The Europeans, they walk in with a cigarette. Come on. That's at halftime, a little cigarette and a little glass of wine. All right. We keep these 30, 35 minutes, shorter series, National Treasures. Cage, any questions before I ask my final one?
No, I mean, listen, if he's bringing Luca, I want to bring Tray. Tray can, insult people and be the bad guy in the other side of the room. It could be a nice balance. It'd be awesome.
Those are the two guys I collect, Cage. You're speaking my language here.
It's
Tray and
good.
Luca?
It's good.
The two modern guys I collect, because they're forever linked through that draft class. They were traded for one another, and they're my two favorite to watch from that draft class too.
Is
Luca
Luca overpriced or Tray underpriced?
Good.
Who do
No,
I answer?
good. I didn't get to ask my whole question, but I will. Is Luca over or Tray underpriced?
Luca could never be overpriced. Tray is massively underpriced.
Okay.
He's at a third of Luca prices right now. It's awesome, frankly, for a guy that buys Tray.
Drawing a hobby comparison, just how everything repeats itself. The cycles all repeat themselves, and you name it. But I think of Luca and Tray, and I hope they both have better careers. Although both of these guys were good, they just had some injuries. Weber and Penny Hardaway, because they also were traded on draft night.
Oh yeah, I do Bird Magic. Same draft class. They have kind of similar games, but yeah, I like that.
All right, ask your question, man. Bring it home.
This is your chance, Jeff. You walked around, you saw a lot of booths, a lot of young entrepreneurs doing things. Who do you want to give a shout out to? Who's doing it well? That caught your eye.
Man, that's a good one. Okay, so I think the hobby is in good hands. We have some great young content creators coming up that I feel like are coming from the right place. If I had to give out a shout out to one of them, I would say Jay from Mojo Sports. Jay, I nickname him Good Vibes Only because that kid is so positive. He's all about making young collectors happy, figuring out a way to just, brighten someone's day. And I don't know. I love the way he approaches the hobby. So if I had to give out Jay, I'm forgetting how to pronounce his last name. It's like
Mojo. Jay Mojo.
Jay Mojo.
Autographs.
Sure.
Jay Mojo autographs.
Right. Jay's awesome. Jay's a good dude. He'd be my guy. What about you guys? Who would you do?
Who would you do? That's a different question, Jeff. Come on now.
Who would you shout out?
There you go, Andrew. He gets to throw it back on you. Who do you? Yeah, that's a good one. I like it. We've asked this question a bunch of times. Nobody has turned the mirror around.
Rude.
Yeah. So first, Josh from Whatnot, because I get calls all the time with ideas. Like, let's do this. My dad called me today. He was like, hey, we have this guy who could, do construction on houses. Let's buy houses and renovate them. And I'm like, okay, well, go to realtor.com and let's find some houses. And he's like, wait. I'm just calling you to have a conversation here. So I know what it takes to execute. And Josh from Whatnot executes, right? They have that big idea, but you do that, he executes. So respect to him. That's number one.
Awesome.
Number two, Burbank Cards.
The
card father. We talked for a while, and I liked where he's coming from. And I like that I watch his videos, and it's always customer-centric. Are you sleeping?
Who?
Oh, it froze. Okay. I thought you were doing the whole Panini digital shtick again.
You were blinking. Yeah, you were
right?
You were blinking,
okay.
And we got the frozen picture.
He's very service oriented. He's very customer oriented, and I like that. I think that's how we've done things here. So those are the two.
Very cool. Good group. Cage, what do you think?
Mine's an easy one. It's Dave Marino from Collectible. It's almost a cop-out, but the National wouldn't be what it was without that guy. I love what he does. I love the thing that he brings to, to card events. I mean, obviously, Mint Collective was a really cool, step in the right direction, I think, for the hobby. I can't wait for that to happen again. He's awesome as a partner for us, includes us in things. Cigar night would not have happened if not for Marino. And more importantly, I would not have eaten in my 5 days at National if not for Marino. I had 2 meals while I was there, and both were at collectible dinners because I'm just running around being a lunatic, drinking soda, smoking cigars. And if it wasn't for Marino inviting me to a dinner, I wouldn't have actually had a meal. So I got to give him that.
Thank you for keeping Cage fed.
Love it. I love it.
Any final words, Jeff? Anything Panini's doing that you want to kind of use this platform to give a shout out? Anything people should look out for?
We have WWE Select coming out this week. It is so obviously WWE Prism made a big splash. We're hoping to capture some of that excitement. And Mr. T is in WWE Select.
I saw that.
mean,
it's a picture
captured
from
my childhood,
WrestleMania 1, I think. I think he's got like Piper. He's like got Piper up, in the picture.
You know this
I
picture?
saw,
Yes.
yeah.
That's the
I saw
one.
a little preview of it. It's a cool card.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Jeff, I appreciate you coming on. Luca Nation, I hope you guys appreciate these guests, everything it takes to put this show on. Our guests are very generous with their time, so please send them some love. Like this, subscribe, share with a friend. Thank you, Jeff. Cage, I appreciate you too, brother.
So thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo My. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month, and many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is. 9170 Glades Road, number 135 is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com. or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luca Nation.